So we are Wednesday evening. Happy yoga evening. Let's come to stand, and we're just going to take a moment to shift perspective, literally. So come to stand with your feet wider than hips distance. Go as wide as is comfortable for you. Just make sure your feet are parallel and bend your knees a lot so that as you begin to fold forward from the hips, you can elongate the spine rather than round the back. Now place your arms wherever you like. If you want to reach for the floor, reach for your outer legs, or catch opposite elbows. Maybe give the fronts of your shoulders a stretch by interlacing the fingers behind your back. And then shift around any way that feels good here. If you need to shake things out of the mind, literally shake the head gently and loosen up the neck. Maybe take a few deep, loud sighs where you are. Or flutter the lips. That's a common area, or the jaw is a common area to carry tension. And maybe even sway the spine as you bend the knees a lot so there's no tension in the back. No tension in the shoulders. In fact, think of lifting the shoulders away from the neck and shifting more weight towards the balls of your feet. You might even like to catch hold of the outer calf and add a little spiraling of the spine, beginning to release tension in the back a bit more. And then go to the opposite side if you did that. And then from here, heel toe your feet hips width apart. Keep them parallel and bend your knees even more. Drop your chin towards your chest, and with an inhalation, firm the belly and begin to roll up. Slowly stack vertebra at a time so that you lift your head last. And even shrug the shoulders as you start to lift the head. So with a deep exhalation, you can rotate the shoulders behind you and soften them down. Try that a few times. Inhale deeply, the shoulders float forward and up. Exhale through the mouth, roll the shoulders back and down. Couple more. Resetting so that whatever has happened in your day so far, this is a new moment. This is a new breath for you to pay attention to what you want to create more of in your state of being. So now find a comfortable seat. We have made it to the 8th limb of yoga, at least studying about it. And so here's what Light on Yoga by BKS Iyengar has to say about the last 3 limbs. Dharana, which was concentration, dhyana, meditation, and today, samadhi. Take the yogi into the innermost recesses of the soul. The yogi does not look heavenward to find divinity. He knows that it is within, being known as the antaratma, or the inner self. The last 3 stages or limbs of yoga keep him in harmony with himself and his creative force. These stages are called antaratma sadhana, the quest of the soul. So the Sanskrit word samadhi, broken down, means putting together and is often translated as integration or absorption. If you remember, the literal definition of yoga is union. That is the ultimate so-called goal of practicing yoga, is that total union with source. That's samadhi. So this 8th limb is the practice of the entire program, the other 7 limbs, as well as the final attainment of being. Through dharana and dhyana, samadhi unfolds. And in the state of samadhi, you cannot see anything but oneness between yourself, the subject, and anything else, the object. In Yoga Journal, Judith Lassiter wrote about samadhi as a state of being intensely present without a point of view. In other words, in samadhi, you perceive all points of view of reality at once without focusing on any particular one. Yogis call this enlightenment. Imagine that each of us has a grid or filter in front of us. The mesh of this filter is constructed of all of our experiences and ideas. It's created by our gender, our particular personal history, our family and cultural values, and our education, to name only a few factors. This grid filters all of our experiences. For example, while we all have the need for food, our grid tells us whether hamburgers, raw fish, or organic tofu is food. The grid is the sum total of our beliefs, conscious and unconscious, about reality. Samadhi is the state in which we no longer experience reality through a grid. Instead, we experience reality directly. Virtually all of us had a taste of this state. Some people have this experience during worship, others during lovemaking, still others while alone in the woods. Samadhi is the state in which you are aware on a cellular level of the underlying oneness of the universe. In a Chopra Center website by Michelle Fondin, she talks about false and lower samadhis. This is interesting because it's good to know what samadhi is not in order to understand it better. She says, like a flitting butterfly, samadhi is elusive to those who directly seek it. Yet, this eternal bliss is something we all seek. Many who seek heavenly bliss turn to drugs, alcohol, pornography, excessive eating or shopping, gambling, or incessant play of video games. While all of these activities can take us to pleasurable present moments, which may seem transcendent, these are known as false samadhis. They actually create a karmic deficit that brings us to lower lows, even though the highs feel so good. Now, the lower samadhis, which don't create deficits, are experiences we can have in peak experiences, such as literally climbing up to a mountain peak, a runner's high, or intimacy with a loved one. These experiences create momentary oneness and help us to understand transcendence. So in the final sutra, Patanjali, who was the sage who wrote the Yoga Sutras, speaks of kaivalya, or independence, absoluteness, and liberation, the results of which are a gift from attainment of pure awareness. So interesting, huh? The Yoga Sutra are all about that final stage of liberation. Liberation from all the fluctuations of the mind. So while today's practice is not going to be teaching samadhi, it's more as a natural state of being attained from a continuous practice of the other limbs of yoga. Let's dive into qualities of it. So find a comfortable seat. Root down through the left and right sitting bones. Gently press the belly towards the spine, lift it up towards the heart. Broaden the chest. Feel the fronts of your shoulders slightly release back and then down, lifting through the back of your skull. Lift through the top center of your head. And let your hands rest down on your lap as you close your eyes. What is present in your body this evening? Through emotion, what are you being asked to take a look at within yourself? Allow the breath in more slowly. Release the breath out through the lips. Let's place the hands on the belly. We're going to begin with 2 different pranayamas. This one is 3-part breath. Hand on the belly, 1 hand on the chest. We're going to go right into it. The inhale is divided into thirds. So 1/3 into the belly, 1/3 into the left and right, 1/3 into the chest. Hold the breath in before exhaling everything through the nose. So just breathing through the nose. And then we'll hold the breath out. Closing the eyes and completely. Hold it out. One side hips. Into the chest. Inhale 1/3. Hold the breath in. Relax the body. Lengthen the spine. Exhale through your nose, everything. Hold the breath. 1/3 side ribs, 1/3 chest. Hold the breath, relax. Exhale through the nose. Hold it out. Let's do one more together, then 1/3 side ribs, 1/3 chest. Hold it in. Empty the breath. Then one side. It's a great way to explore fullness in the breath. So now direct that fullness more into the belly. As you continue to breathe in, equal sustained breath into the belly, then hollowing the So continuing to use your diaphragm, continue with this style of breathing, or as we've been doing the energizing Vastrika pranayama, bellows breath. So we begin with the elbows bent apart and hands like this. I'll quickly demonstrate. We inhale the arms up, fingers spread. Exhale, the elbows bend, hands like this, and it's rhythmic. Just like that. So let's prepare. If you're gonna do that for 1 minute, I'm gonna set the timer on the phones. Elbows bent to the sides and begin. Relax. Just take a moment to observe. Then let's begin Ujjayi Pranayama, sustaining the breath equally through the nose while softly moving the back of the throat in a gentle whisper. Staying attuned to that breathing. Gently open your eyes, and we're going to begin with a seated spinal twist since we had a request for spinal release. So extend your left leg straight ahead. Step your right foot either in front of the hip or across the side of your left knee, or then you might also bend the left knee. Just make sure that your pelvis is equally grounded and your spine is relaxed and tall. Place your right hand behind your pelvis, raise your left arm, press into the ground with every part of your body touching the ground, including your right foot. Then breathe in and lift the spine, relaxing the shoulders. Breathe out at your waistline, rotate the chest to the right. Lowering your left arm, either hold your shin or hook your elbow outside of your thigh. Breathe in, continue to root into the ground to rise up taller while broadening your chest. And as you breathe out, hollow your belly. Feel a little more space to deepen the twist. Now let's take 3 more equal in and out breaths. Keeping the shoulders relaxing down. Feel a slight lift through the back of your skull. Keeping your chin parallel to the floor. Then finishing this exhalation, gently unwind your spine and let's switch sides. Extend your right leg forward. Step the left foot in front of the hip or cross the outside of the right knee, where then you might also bend the right knee. Place your left hand behind your pelvis on the ground and raise the right arm. Press into the ground, even with your left foot, and lift up through the spine as you inhale. Keep the shoulders relaxed. At your waistline, exhale, twist. Lower your right arm, either onto your shin or hook your elbow outside the thigh. Keep pressing the ground. As you breathe in, lift to your crown. Chin parallel to the floor. Hollow the belly as you breathe out. Continue to rotate your rib cage. Such a great way to release tension along the spine, as well as help wake up and cleanse major energy centers, the 7 chakras, from the base of the spine to above the crown of the head. Take one last deep breath here. The end of the exhale, unwind your spine. Let's come down to child's pose, and we're going to move from there. So bring your feet to touch. Extend your arms straight forward so your elbows are not resting on the floor. Separate your hands at least shoulders width apart, pointing the index fingers straight forward, parallel to each other. We're going to take a long version of cat-cow, starting from child's pose. On your next inhale, rock forward to hands and knees, paralleling the shins. Coil your chest up into cow pose. On your exhale, hollow the belly. Drop the sitting bones down to your heels, keeping the shins parallel if that's comfortable enough. Inhale again, rock forward to all fours and coil into cow pose. Exhale, contract the belly, round the back as you sink the pelvis down to child's pose. Let's take 2 more cycles like that. Breathing in, lengthen the lower back and arch right under the shoulder blades. Breathing out, contract the belly and draw the tailbone downward. Last round. We're using this longer range of motion than our usual cat-cow to really feel the length of the breath, synchronize with the movement. Now let's take it into lateral circles. Breathe in, circle your pelvis to the left, and then circle all the way forward. Breathe out, circle to the right, and all the way back. Take 2 more in this direction at your pace. Inhaling to come forward, half of the circle. Exhaling to scoot back, the other half. 1 more round in this direction. So we're warming up joints in various ways. Now let's switch directions. Inhale to the right, lateral circle forward. Exhale the other half of the circle, back to child's pose. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. 1 more round. Now slither forward onto your stomach into Sphinx pose. So your elbows are on the ground, your chest is lifted. Have your elbows about 1 inch in front of your shoulders. Plant your palms flat down and imagine you're dragging them towards your hips. Don't actually move them, but use that energetic action to draw the front of your shoulder heads back. And then broaden the chest as you look on the floor ahead of your fingertips. Now feel your legs. Actively press your heels back, feeling every toenail firm into the floor. Legs so actively reaching back that your knees are actually not on the floor. They're not relaxed. Draw the tailbone down towards the heels. Keeping all of this strength in the legs, this energy of rooting the pelvis and toenails. Lower your forehead to the ground and reach your hands behind your lower back to clasp or hold a strap between the hands. Now keep the feet heavy on the floor and breathe in to coil your chest up. Take 3 to 5 more breaths here. So keep looking down ahead so as not to strain your neck. Draw the shoulder blades down and reach the knuckles of your hands back towards your heels. Keep pressing every toenail down. Knees are lifted, though the legs are on the floor. When you finish your last exhalation, however many you decided, place your fingertips outside of your mat, alongside your shoulders, so that your elbows bend 90 degrees out to their sides. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, rotate the right shoulder back and down and look behind it. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, rotate the left shoulder back and down and look behind it. Now add any other motion to help loosen up your neck. You might explore rotating the head very gently, or rotating each shoulder in isolation as though your shoulder blades were wiping circles on your back ribs. Common areas to carry emotional stress: the neck and shoulders, even the jaw. Might feel good to flutter the lips a few more times. Keep the feet heavy on the floor, the legs actively stretching back so the knees are not relaxing on the mat, they're lifted. Now place your hands alongside your floating ribs, tuck your toes behind you, decide what kind of plank pose you want to push up into. Whether the knees remain on the floor or the legs are straight, we'll be there for 5 breaths. So take a deep inhale, hug the elbows in, draw the shoulder blades back, scoop the belly in, and try to lift the spine like one plank of wood. Now let's hold plank for a few breaths. Whether or not your knees are on the ground, feel a slight lift of your lower abdomen. Broaden the shoulder blades and look on the floor ahead of your hands to lengthen all the sides of your neck. Feel your hands rebound your weight off the floor so your shoulder joints don't feel congested, they have space. So when you finish your 5th breath, do lower your knees, put your weight back onto your legs, and let's make fists out of the hands to stretch the wrists. Gently press the fists against each other while leaning the backs of your fists on the floor. Slowly rock your weight forward to find just the amount of intensity to feel that outer wrist and forearm stretch. Notice if tension arises behind your ears or your face or anywhere else. Just be aware. Let's take 3 more deep breaths here. We're gonna take one more version of plank. Don't worry, we're gonna flow in a moment. Some of you might be itching for that right now. Okay, come up high on your finger pads. This is a wrist strengthening way of practicing plank. You might want to be on your knees to start. Knees right under hips, wrists right under shoulders. Really think of contracting the center of your palms. So it's not like you're collapsing down. Again, it's a rooting to lift up, like your hands are like suction cups. And then from here, draw the shoulder blades down the back, rotate triceps slightly towards the rear of the mat, look forward, treat it like plank pose in all the other parts of your body. Now you could try lifting one leg back if your knees are on the floor, keeping the hips squared. Take a few breaths and switch sides, or try full plank with the legs straight, firming the heels back, still lifting the lower belly. If you want to add challenge in full plank, you could try lifting a foot, flexing it, try to keep your 2 hips balanced and hugging the midline, and then switch sides. Now, if you're feeling endurance here in the hands, you could even lift the pelvis and keep these suction cup hands in downward facing dog. But if it's a bit much by now, you might lower to your knees first and seal the palms flat. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Take a few breaths there. However you want to hold still or shift around and pedal the feet. From downward facing dog, bend your knees and look forward. As you exhale, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Keep your feet hips width to start, parallel. Inhale, lift the chest, pressing your legs to the floor. Exhale, fold down. From down through the feet, inhale, sweep the arms, look up as the palms touch. Exhale, trace your thumbs down your center line. We're gonna flow through 3 continuous rounds of Sun Salutation A, enhancing a state of flow in the mind by concentrating on fluid, sustained breaths. Here we go. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Press with the hands. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Step to your version of plank or float to chaturanga. Exhaling as you lower forward and down. Cobra or upward facing dog. Breathing in, broaden the chest up. Exhale to downward facing dog, taking 3 to 5 breaths. Feel how your body follows your breath, as though your breath were the teacher here. Bend your knees, look ahead of your hands, empty the breath, then walk or float to the top. Inhale, lengthen the heart forward. Exhale, bow in. Inhale, sweep your arms looking up as you rise. Exhale to mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms looking up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, lift your heart, step or lightly jump back through Chaturanga as you exhale. Breathe into Cobra or Upward Facing Dog. Exhale to Downward Facing Dog. So take 3 to 5 breaths on your own and take one more sun salutation at your own pace of breath. We'll meet in Downward Facing Dog. Perhaps even play with closing your eyes if you feel comfortable and if it's appropriate for you. And any parts that you can, directing more attention inward. When you arrive in Downward Facing Dog, let's take a few breaths more. Feel your hands rooting down so that you can lift your shoulders and hips back, relaxing your neck as you see your feet. Spin your left heel to the midline of your mat. So turn out your left toes slightly, bend your right knee towards your nose, and step your right foot directly between your hands for Warrior Two. Aligning right heel to the arch of left foot, cartwheel your arms to rise up, and right away let's hold 5 breaths together. Steady the gaze ahead, inhale. Exhale, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 4. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale, lower your hands, step right to Downward Facing Dog. Feet apart, hips distance. Take a couple of breaths. Relax the neck. Rotate the outer upper arms towards the floor. Now turn out your right toes and spin the right heel down the midline of your mat. Bend your left knee towards your nose and step the foot directly between the hands. Aligning left heel to arch of right foot, cartwheel your arms to rise, and right away, steady your gaze for 5 deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 4. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale, lower your hands and step to plank pose, top of a push-up. So here, spin out your fingertips to the sides or back towards the feet, whatever you can hold for about 3 breaths. Draw the shoulder blades down the back. You can set the knees down at any time here. Extend your sternum, middle of your chest forward, lift the sides of your waist. Look ahead of you on the ground. Then spin your index fingers to face forward like a regular plank and walk or jump to the front of your mat, forward fold. Bring your feet to touch. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Starting sun salutation B, let's flow right into 3 rounds continuously. Bend your knees to touch. Inhale, sit your weight back towards your heels, arms up in chair. Then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Either float to chaturanga or step to plank, exhaling to lower forward and down. Taking your vinyasa at your own pace of breath, let's meet in downward dog. 1 breath per motion. Inhale, raise the right leg behind, squaring the hips. Exhale, set the foot inside of right hand, feet hips distance. Spin the back heel down. Inhale, rise all the way up to warrior 1. Then exhale, lower into your choice of vinyasa. We'll meet again in downward facing dog. Focus on the consistent sound of your breath. Downward dog, inhale, raise the left leg, squaring your hips. Exhale, step the foot inside of left hand, spin the right heel down. Feet hips width, facing forward. Inhale, rise all the way to warrior 1. Exhale, lower all the way through your vinyasa. Equal in breaths, equal out breaths. Back to downward facing dog. Let's take 3 to 5 breaths. We're about to wrap up this first of 3 sun salutation Bs. So feel the pattern of it, because the third round is going to be completely at your own pace of breath. Finding your flow. Bend your knees a lot, look past your hands. At the end of your exhale, lightly land, feet touching at the top. Then inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold in with knees touching. Inhale, sit low in chair pose. Then exhale to rise up. That completes 1 full cycle. Cycle 2, last one together. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Float to chaturanga or step to plank to lower as you exhale. Remember, you could change up this part. Turn it into cat-cow, hold plank, skip it. Then from downward facing, inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale the foot forward, spin the back heel down. Inhale, rise, warrior 1. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa. Hearing the sound of your breath to guide your body. When you arrive in downward dog, inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale the foot inside of the left hand, spin the right heel down. Inhale, rise to warrior 1. Exhale, lower, flow or no flow. Taking rest, of course, whenever you need to. Then in downward facing dog, 3 to 5 deep breaths, recalibrating. With steady focus, bend your knees, look ahead of your hands. At the end of the exhale, lightly land at the top of your mat with feet touching. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold forward with knees touching. Inhale, sit low in chair pose. Exhale to rise, completing cycle 2. Cycle 3 on your own. We'll meet standing here at the very end of it. Find your pace of breath. Close your eyes whenever you feel it's appropriate. 1 pointed focus. Beautiful job pacing yourselves. Let's end up at the top of your mat with feet touching, playing with some upright balancing in hand to big toe pose. So we'll shift the weight onto the right foot. Place your right hand on your right hip. Spread your weight through the four corners of your right foot. Really important when we're balancing, especially on one limb, is to think of how you're using the entire surface area of the part of your body touching the floor. So spread your toes, inner and outer heels root down. Feel the muscle in the right thigh engage. Now bend your left knee and catch hold of the outside of it with your left hand. And just pause here as you flex the left foot. Level out your two hips and feel the bowl shape of your pelvis upright. Lightly engage the belly in and up. Now steady your eyes on something. You can keep the knee bent as we open the leg, or aim to clasp the big toe with your left peace fingers, or hold a strap. Loop it around the foot and extend the leg forward. If you're straightening the leg to whatever degree you can, make sure you're drawing that left shoulder back and down. So just like the hips, the shoulders are leveled and they're stacked right above the hips. Now turn out your left leg, keep flexing the foot, and open the leg slowly while opening the right arm too, finding just to open that left leg where it doesn't throw your spine to a tilt. You want to keep your spine upright, shoulders relaxed over the hips, eyes steady. If you're using a strap, kick into the strap and pull the strap at the same time, using those counter forces. Nice. Think of rolling your left glute and sitting bone downward. Lifting up, breathe in, exhale 3, inhale, feel the pelvic floor lift, exhale 2. One more breath here. Now, bend the left knee and hug the inside of your right ankle, calf, or thigh in tree. Joining your hands at your heart, keep steadying your gaze, or raising your arms overhead, or dancing it out, shaking it out, however you want to play with it, for just a few more breaths. Vrikshasana. Feel the lift of your heart space as you take one more deep breath. And set your left foot down. Let's actually insert that shake it here. So shake it out, shake whatever you can. Roar it out, sigh it out, do whatever you need. Just like Dillinger taught me today. Dillinger's the dog. Now bring your feet together to touch. Steady your gaze, you've reset. Steady your breath. Bring your left hand to your left hip, and first make a conscious choice in how you spread your weight through your left spread toes and inner and outer heel, engaging the left quadricep. Feel how solid that leg is rooting down and lifting. Now, bend the right knee and flex the right foot, catching the outer knee with your right hand. Take a moment to feel your left and right hips like they're a seesaw and you're trying to balance them. Draw the navel in and up, steady gaze. Now decide to keep the knee bent where you're opening the leg like this, or use your strap around the foot or your peace fingers around the big toe. Keep flexing the right foot however you're doing it. Draw the right shoulder back and down. Level your two shoulders like two ends of a seesaw too. Then turn out your right leg before opening the leg, like turning a doorknob before opening the door. Open the left arm out to its side. Now think of your right sitting bone. Point it downward towards your inner left heel. And that can help prevent the right hip from hiking up so much that you feel that you begin to tilt the spine to the left. Now feel your weight again through the four corners of your left foot. Press down with it and rebound the force up, just like you do with your hands in plank. Inhale, exhale 3. Inhale, exhale 2, blossoming in all directions. One more breath. Now bend your right knee and find tree, hugging your right foot into your inner left ankle, calf, or thigh. Hands could be at the heart or anywhere you want to play with it. Just like in meditation, when we want to be kind to ourselves for the mind's attention wandering, same thing, practicing that compassion in postures too can be a challenge. when we fall or we feel a little off balance. As you know, some days certain postures seem more natural than other days. We're just working with what's here. Take another breath and set the right foot down. One more time, shake or dance it out, but really do shake. And I love this energy cleanse. It's waterfall. So come to stand at the top of your mat with the feet wider than hips width, parallel. You're gonna take a big loud sigh and a deep inhale using the diaphragm. So it starts with the inhale, the arms raise up, and like you're scooping a huge cold water from a waterfall, and you're dousing yourself as you exhale to fold. Inhale. Take a few more. Ah. Ah. And we'll meet standing in mountain pose. Once there, please turn to face the wide width of your mat. Turn out your legs from your hips into a wide-legged squat. So making sure that whatever your turnout is today, that you're just aligning the middle of your kneecaps with the middle toes to make sure your knees are safe. Then bend your knees and rock side to side, just open up the inner thighs a little more. Think of lifting your frontal hip bone slightly so the tailbone begins to anchor down. And then use your hands to gently splay the inner thighs apart. Maybe sink the pelvis a little more, roll the shoulders back and down. So we're gonna do a little heart mantra. It's a moving mantra with the body, not so much with words. As you press down, inhale, straighten the legs and sweep the arms up. Feeling of expansion. And then exhale, press the palms down towards the earth as you rebend the knees, grounding. Straighten the legs and sweep the arms like an invitation to your heart. Bend the knees, exhale, expand the arms, pressing the palms out to the sides. Feel the energy of the gestures. Inhale, rise again, arms overhead. Exhale, bend the knees, palms down towards the earth. Inhale, straighten the legs, invite towards the heart. Exhale, bend the knees, expand, pressing the palms out to the sides. Inhale, up, open sky above. Exhale, down, grounded with the earth below. Inhale up, inviting towards the heart within. Exhale, bend the knees, expanding with what surrounds. Two more. Inhale, open sky above, connecting with that. Exhale, grounding with earth below. Inhale, acknowledging divinity within. Exhale, bend, acknowledging oneness with divinity around. Last time, inhale, open sky above. Exhale, earth below. Inhale, divinity within. Exhale, divinity around. Heel toe your feet close enough together, hips distance or touching. Close your eyes, place your left hand on your heart. Place your right hand just below the belly button. Feel the ground beneath. Feel the crown reaching for the sky above. And your physical body, a channel of energy flow. Acknowledging interconnection. Please find a comfortable seat for Nadi Shodhana, our next breathwork pranayama. It will lead us into our cool down and into Shavasana. So it's the alternate nostril breath, great for balancing the left and right hemispheres of the brain, calming the nervous system, and diving our attention deeper into the subtler aspects of ourselves. So it's done with the left hand resting on your lap, in which you might use the mudra of bringing thumb and first finger to touch to help concentrate. And the right hand, you stick out your thumb, pinky, and ring finger. Then as you sit tall with the shoulders relaxed, the eyes are closed, steadying the gaze right between the eyebrows. But if you need to watch to start, feel free to keep your eyes open. Once you get the hang of the pattern as it repeats, just continue at your own pace whenever you feel ready. So we're just breathing through the nose, sustained but gentle breaths. Imagine you have a little feather you're trying to balance on your upper lip, and you don't want to breathe so hard that it flies away. And then from here, let's begin by exhaling completely, then hold the breath out. With your right thumb, cover your right nostril and inhale to your left. Hold the breath in. Last 2 fingers cover left. Exhale through right. Hold the breath out. Inhale through right. Hold. Cover right with thumb. Exhale through left. Hold. Inhale through left. Hold. Cover left with 2 fingers. Exhale through right. Hold. Inhale through right. Hold. Cover right with thumb. Exhale through left. Hold. Inhale through left. Hold. Cover left with 2 fingers. Exhale through right. Take a couple more cycles of breath on your own. Finishing holding the breath out, release both hands in your lap. Breathe naturally. Observe your body. Observe your breath. Observe your mind. We're going to enter a hip opening posture, and while it's a cool down, there's an offering to go a little bit deeper into frog pose. So, 2 choices. Well, you have many, but here's 2 I'm offering. One is the milder version of Baddha Konasana with the knees bent apart, soles of the feet together, and folding forward. The other version is frog, where you want to use the wide width of your mat so that you begin in sort of like child's pose, but not sitting all the way back. And you turn out your legs like we did in the squat. So the squat was kind of preparing for it. Turn out your legs from your hips so that your knees bend, turn to the 2 ends of the mat, left and right, and your feet turn out in the same direction as your knees. That's important for knee alignment. And you want to bend your knees at 90-degree angles so that your knees are in the same plane as your hips. Your knees are in the same plane as your ankles in the other plane. So if you're in frog, you can be right here. You can place your forearms down in front. You could have a pillow to rest your head on or whatever you need. And I'll watch the clock for 2 minutes, whether you're in bound angle sitting and folding forward, or you're here in frog. Usually this is good to do for a few minutes because it takes so much, at least in my case, time and patience. It's really just allow. It's much a practice of surrendering, letting go of resistance there might be in the inner thighs and hips, areas that we can tense up, especially when we're feeling the need to protect ourselves, that flight or fight response of the nervous system. If it helps, if you're feeling a bit on your edge physically in this pose, use Ujjayi Pranayama again, where you softly narrow the back of the throat and sustain the breath equally through the nose, creating a whisper that helps the mind to concentrate. And while we're here for just another minute, I invite you to conjure up the feeling of relief. Think of a moment when you have felt that because our mind doesn't know what's happening now or what's being replayed from the past. is you invite that feeling of relief, feeling of liberation, that freedom, that release of tension. Let it trickle into your physical manifestation. You only have 15 seconds left in this pose. Now, if you're in bound angle, lead with your chest and inhale to lift the spine slowly, and then straighten your legs in front. If you're in frog, face the same direction, but begin to lower your pelvis as you bring the feet together in child's pose, where the knees are probably a little wider apart than the usual child's pose. This will be a transitional position. Just sit in child's pose for a few breaths, anywhere you want to place your arms. Let the pelvis drop down to the heels, lengthening the lower back. And as you feel ready, press the ground with your hands, tuck your chin to your chest, and breathe in to roll the spine slowly upright. Now come to lie on your back as I fix the screen. I see the video just turn off. Thanks, Rack. The cat is playing tricks on us. Come to lie down on your back. Bend your knees and crisscross your right thigh over your left thigh. We're going to do the opposite of frog and Baddha Konasana, which is Gomukhasana. So catch hold of either the backs of your thighs, your outer shins, or your outer feet, and gently flex your feet so there's no strain in the knees as you gently splay the feet apart, ground your tailbone. Keep the shoulders relaxed on the floor, head on the floor. Feel the natural curve of your neck. For just 3 more breaths. Cow face pose or supine cow face pose. Now keep the crisscross of your legs if you want a deeper spinal twist. If you don't want such a deep spinal twist, uncross the legs and bend the knees together like this. Scoot your pelvis a few more inches closer to the right edge of your mat and open your right arm wide on the floor. Keeping the right shoulder down, lift your feet and begin to slowly drop your knees towards your left side as you look over your right shoulder, making sure that you only twist as deeply as your right shoulder can stay on the ground. As we hold for a few breaths, you could place your left hand on your outer right hip and gently press it away from your belly towards your feet if you want a deeper release in the lower back. You might even visualize breathing into your lower back as though you have lungs there. So you feel it gently expand in the area as you inhale, and you feel the area soften as you exhale. Gently roll onto your back, switch the cross of your legs so the left thigh crisscrosses over the right. Splay your feet apart and gently flex them. Catch either the backs of your thighs, your outer shins, or your outer feet, splaying the feet apart as the thighs hug your midline. Ground your tailbone and shoulders. Let's take 3 more deep breaths here. Though this is a hip opener for your outer hips, glutes, and thighs, I find that it offers a nice release of tension from the lower back. Now let's prepare for the spinal twist, taking that release further. Open your left arm wide out to the left, grounding the shoulder. Scoot your pelvis a little closer to the left edge of your mat. Now, if you don't want such a deep twist, uncross your legs and bend your knees together. Otherwise, keep the cross and drop your knees slowly to the right, turning your head to your left. Remember to only twist as far as your left shoulder can stay on the ground. If you want a deeper release in the lower back, use your right hand, place it on your left outer hip, and gently press your left outer hip away from your torso and towards your feet. Taking just about 3 more breaths. And as you roll onto your back, give yourself 1 more minute for any kind of cool down posture or movement you prefer. Whether it be shoulder stand, a cooling inversion, as long as you don't have any injuries in your neck and shoulders, legs up with or without a prop to hold it up like this. Anything that helps you to allow stillness to come next. Then begin to place your body in a comfortable position to simply receive all the positive energy you put to your mind, breathing, and focused physical practice. Now in Shavasana, corpse pose. In yoga, corpse, which represents death, is more of that ultimate union with divine consciousness. Close your eyes and enjoy the benefits of your practice. If you need a longer Shavasana, feel free not to move. Otherwise, let's prepare for 2 minutes of a guided meditation. Begin to stretch your body, softly move it to gently wake it up, keeping your eyes closed. Then from corpse pose, let's enter a fetal position, bending the knees and gently turning over to your right side where you can rest a moment and just feel the transition. Corpse pose, moving into fetal, is a transition of something, a release, anything that you've for the renewal of something else, or rebirth, which is symbolized in the fetal position, an awakening, an insight, clarity. Begin to lift your body up, find a seat that is comfortable and helps you to feel alert. Entering meditation as you either keep your eyes closed, down in front of you. Remain natural and easy. Relaxed and supported. I invite all the time when you have felt deeply connected, whether to another being, to divine, to nature, to yourself, to a community. Find a specific incident in which you felt deeply connected. As you continue to feel the breath present here in this moment, recall details of that incident. Who was there? What were in your surroundings? And most importantly, how did it feel to you to be deeply connected? Like in your physical body, your body. Breathe with that sense of connection. What did it feel like? Heart space, your heart center. In your mind. Immersing yourself in the feeling of deep connection. Invite a deep breath in, lifting the heart. Keep it rising as you join your palms to meet there, exhaling through the lips. And as you bow in towards your heart, I invite you to continue to nurture that feeling of connection when you do open your eyes, and perhaps find a connection with what you see first when the eyes open. Let's close the practice chanting one Om, the sound that reminds us of how we're all interconnected. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.